Hi, I'm Angie Eilers, the founder of Your Turn. Welcome to my virtual exhibit booth. In the spirit of social distancing, I'm sending you this sanitized video message and demo instead of meeting you in person at conferences. What we would have talked about is that Your Turn is a goal-setting and progress tracking app for middle school and high school students and their families. And what better time than now to strengthen homeschool connections using our online dashboard? Students and families can track their progress toward future educational goals. Your Turn plugs into student information systems like PowerSchool, Infinite Campus, and Skyward, and then visually transforms student data into an easy-to-understand dashboard in relation to student outcomes. So let's dive in and take a demo what school counselors experience, and at the end of the demo video is what the parents and the students experience with their personalized dashboard. I'm going to show you two use cases today of Your Turn. One is from the school district's point of view, the counselors, the administrators, and others who would be tracking the hundreds of students assigned to them. And then I'll show a few examples of how the parents and the students interact with Your Turn. Counselors are greeted with a dashboard every day of the summary of students who have low attendance, meaning they're missing more than 10% of school. And we know from research that by missing 10% or more of school, put students at risk of failing a class. And if it fails the class, the students are likely to not graduate high school on time. Your Turn also is tracking credits and whether students are missing any credits that would put them off track of graduating high school or being eligible for 2-year or 4-year colleges after high school. As well, in the good news category, Your Turn tracks students who have set goals for themselves. Counselors can sort students by a variety of different methods. They can track by graduation year, by the student's last name, or whether they are above or below the attendance concern, or whether they have set goals. Let's just take a look at a list of all of the students that a counselor is assigned to. The counselor can sort by what grade level students are in, whether they are off track a little bit with their attendance. And we've built in high school graduation as a default goal, so everyone's got the high school graduation goal set for them, and the counselor can track those students who are off track of graduating high school on time. Students also have the option of choosing a variety of post-secondary institutions that they're interested in, and the counselor can see whether and how students on track or off track are being eligible for those schools, and then consult with them accordingly. Now I want to show you instances and other features that are part of the dashboard. Counselors have control over the types and what institutions that they assign to students, or they can work in concert with students and ask them what their interests might be. So for example, let's just create a college, and a student is eligible between 9th and 12th grade. They may finish early. They might want to create a description of the college, and just so that the student knows that this is a community college. The number of credits associated with entrance are the same as those upon graduation, and the GPA is not an issue for technical and community colleges. And then now this new college has been added to the goal list, and students will see that appear from their list of colleges that they might select. Additionally, there are other features like the subjects that are associated with graduating high school on time, and whether other courses like foreign language might be required for eligibility at 4-year colleges, and they can edit this feature by changing the name. It may be language arts in your school, for example, that can be changed. As well, on the dashboard, counselors can run reports. So, for example, they may want to run a report of the students that they're tracking each week or each quarter, share this with other administrators in the school, just to keep an eye on students that they are concerned about. They might see the engagement rate. This is just demo data, but it may be that they can see whether and how often students are engaging with their dashboard, and same with the goal settings report. There's also the ability to add schools to your district if you want to add more middle or high school students to your district, and then creating tags. Tags are another way of sorting students. So for example, you may want to tag your special ed students or those who are enrolled in post-secondary enrollment options, and then just call up those students based on that interest area. Okay, so back to the main dashboard for the counselors. These are the various features that they have of their control, and again,
The default page is this high-level summary of students. Let's take a look at a student who has a concern about their attendance. Alexander is just shy of 90%, and that may be affecting his GPA. It could be that he's failed classes because he has missed so much school. He has set some goals for himself, and the counselor can see that he's a little off track of being eligible, but his credits are in good shape. He's on track to graduate from high school, so here's a credit summary of Alexander's courses. What the counselor can also offer is she or he can take notes, whether private or public, about meetings that they've had or ways that they want to communicate with the parents and the student. And if they make this a public note, then that note will appear on Alexander's dashboard. Or if they'd like to keep the private, just a running record of their meetings, the counselor has that option as well. She can see where he's been enrolled in the past, who his guardians are. New family members could be added here, for example, just a simple add of a new family member. Here are the tags. In this case, Alexander has been tagged as an avid student and also a post-secondary enrollment option student. More tags can be added by pulling from a list that the counselor has created. And again, that just helps the counselor sort the hundreds of students assigned to her. As well, if the counselor is sitting with Alexander in her office, she might say, let's jump out to your dashboard and see what's going on, Alexander. So this is the view that Alexander and his parents see when they log on. This is mobile enabled, so it's ideal for smart devices, tablets, desktops, and laptops. A red flag has popped up in Alexander's case because he is not hitting the 90% goal of attendance. So that's a heads up to him and his families. Here are the goals he's set. Again, the high school goal is a default goal. He has set another goal that he is eligible for despite the low attendance, but he's on track with his grade, so he's eligible. He set this goal for an institution that has a higher GPA than where Alexander is at. So that's a little heads up to him to know that he's below the threshold, but there's still time in Alexander's school career to catch up with that. And then again, he and his family can see the credit summary of where he's at as a sophomore. He is on track to graduate high school in time. He's got the credits accumulating nicely without missing any credits. Now in Alexander's case, he might say, well, what if I do get my attendance up a little bit more, if I stop skipping school on Fridays? And he quickly gets visibility that puts him in better shape, not failing a course or not missing enough courses that he misses out on high school graduation. And he can also play around with the calculator to see what kind of GPA he might need to be eligible for UW Green Bay, and it looks like 2.5. So Alexander might think, well, that's worth it to me. I'm going to keep working on my attendance and my GPA so that I can have enough time for the next 2 years between sophomore and senior year to be eligible for these post-secondary institutions. So that's great visual feedback for Alexander and his family to see what's ahead for him. I'll show you other instances in which a student may be missing credits. In Beverly's case, she again is also given a heads up, and she can move down to her credit summary, and she sees that she's missing a fine arts credit. So that's what's putting her off track of graduating high school and being eligible for these schools, these post-secondary institutions, even though her GPA and her attendance are in great shape. So Beverly needs to work on finishing that fine arts credit. Here's another student. Jack has set some aspirations for a variety of colleges and universities after high school. He's in great shape with attendance and GPA. Take a look at the college where he's a little off, and it's just a little bit off for the GPA. It might be an incentive for Jack to really put in the effort to get his GPA up to be eligible for that college. Again, his credit summary shows that he's in fine shape and on track. And we'll get into the what if calculator. Jack can just simply see what it's going to take to be eligible to go attend Lawrence University. It looks like a 3.5. That's what he's shooting for. So again, it gives visual feedback to Jack and his family so he knows what he's aiming for. So that's a high-level summary of Your Turn. We hope you'll visit us at www.yourturn.org, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.